The courtroom was packed. The air was thick with tension, grief, and disbelief. Reporters whispered, camera flashes echoed faintly, and a young woman, barely 17, sat at the defendant's table, smirking. Her name was Alyssa Harper. The world knew her as the laughing teen killer. But no one, not even the judge, could have predicted what was about to happen when the final sentence was read. Alyssa's case had captured the entire nation. A once promising high school senior from a quiet Midwestern town, she was convicted of the brutal killing of her classmate, Jenna Morris, a girl who used to be her best friend. What made it all the more shocking was the motive, jealousy, betrayal, and a secret that neither of them was supposed to reveal. Throughout the trial, Alyssa appeared cold, detached, and often defiant. She laughed when evidence was shown, smiled when her mother cried, and stared blankly at the jury as they delivered a guilty verdict for second-degree murder. People whispered that she had no soul, that she enjoyed the chaos, the attention, the horror she'd caused. But what no one knew was that beneath that mask of arrogance and cruelty, something was breaking. Judge Raymond Carter, a seasoned jurist with 30 years on the bench, had seen every kind of criminal, from gang members to corporate fraudsters. But Alyssa unsettled him. Her laughter, the way she toyed with the gravity of death, gnawed at his conscience. He had delayed sentencing twice, hoping she'd show remorse. She never did, until that day, as the prosecution played the final surveillance clip. Footage of Alyssa and Jenna arguing by the riverbank. Alyssa tilted her head and smirked again. The video showed the push, the scream, the silence. Gasps filled the courtroom. The victim's mother sobbed uncontrollably, clutching her chest. Alyssa looked forward, expressionless. Then, almost mockingly, she let out a soft, cold laugh. "Ms. Harper," the judge began, his voice low but shaking with anger, "you have shown no remorse, no understanding of the life you took. I hope one day you realize the weight of your actions." The courtroom was silent, except for the sound of paper shuffling. Then the judge's gavel struck. Sentenced to 40 years in state prison. Alyssa laughed again, a short, chilling giggle. People gasped. The victim's father shouted from the back row, "Monster!" Alyssa's lawyer whispered, "Stop, please stop." But she didn't. Not yet. As deputies approached to handcuff her, Alyssa turned toward the victim's family. "You all think you know what happened," she said, voice cracking with a strange mix of pride and pain. "But you don't." The crowd erupted, journalists scribbling, murmurs spreading. The judge slammed his gavel again. "Remove her." But before they could, Alyssa's composure broke. Her smirk faded. Her body trembled. "I didn't mean to push her that hard," she whispered, almost to herself. "We were fighting, yes, but I didn't mean to kill her." The courtroom froze. For the first time, tears rolled down Alyssa's face. She fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. "She was my best friend," she cried. "We fought because I found out she was moving away and I lost control. I tried to pull her back, but she slipped." Her voice cracked as guards tried to lift her. "I didn't want this. I swear I didn't want this." The victim's mother, still in tears, covered her face. The judge, visibly shaken, paused the proceedings. Even the reporters were silent. The laughter that had defined Alyssa's image, the arrogance, the cruelty, had vanished. What was left was just a broken child facing the weight of an irreversible mistake. Judge Carter ordered a short recess. As Alyssa sat in the holding cell, cameras captured her rocking back and forth, whispering Jenna's name. When court resumed, the atmosphere had changed. The crowd that had come to see a villain was now looking at something else, a shattered human being drowning in regret. The judge, after regaining composure, said quietly, "Ms. Harper, your words cannot change what happened, but the court acknowledges your remorse. May you use this time to reflect and change." As deputies escorted Alyssa away, she turned one last time toward Jenna's mother. Through tears, she mouthed, "I'm sorry." The woman, broken but human, nodded slightly. It wasn't forgiveness, but it wasn't hate anymore either. That moment would later become the most replayed clip of the entire trial. The second when a heartless killer became a remorseful soul, when arrogance turned to anguish, when laughter turned to tears. In the weeks that followed, The media tore the story apart. Psychologists debated whether her breakdown was genuine. Some said it was manipulation. Others believed it was the first time she truly faced what she'd done. But inside prison, Alyssa changed. She joined counseling, earned a GED, and started writing letters to Jenna's family. Letters they never answered but never returned either. She refused interviews. She declined book deals. When asked years later why she laughed in court, she said quietly, "It wasn't laughter. It was fear. I didn't know how else to hide the guilt." By the 10th year of her sentence, Alyssa was teaching literacy classes to other inmates. She never once asked for parole. She said she didn't deserve it. But one day, she received a letter. It was from Jenna's mother. Just 2 lines. "I read your letters. I forgive you. Don't waste the rest of your life." Alyssa cried for hours. That night, for the first time in a decade, she smiled, not in defiance, but in peace. When a documentary about her case aired years later, it ended with a shot of Alyssa in a prison library, reading to younger inmates. The narrator said, "She entered as a killer and became a teacher." Her story reminds us, guilt can destroy, but remorse can rebuild. The courtroom that once echoed with her laughter would forever remember her tears. And in that silence, after the gavel, after the rage, one truth lingered. Even the coldest hearts can break, and sometimes that's how healing begins.